Good morning, shoulda.
Yo.
How's everyone doing today? What's going on? How's everyone doing? Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Adam. Give everyone a few minutes to get on in here. What's up, Dan? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this part today. That's definitely going to be the...
What up, Dan? What's up, Johnny Two Sides? But it's Saturday. Today's Saturday?
It is Saturday. Why, did I say something different? What's up, Johnny Two Socks? Good to see you.
Today's Saturday.
Everyone say hello in the chat. Throw us a like on the stream if you can. Yeah, for some reason this activity stream's just showing me Twitch stuff. I guess it's alright. It's weird. Interesting. Anyway. What's up, Rianne? What's up, DQ? Morning, everybody.
Trying to get a current event for y'all.
Ah, that's cool.
Something that I read that was crazy. Hi, Rayanne. Hi, Kalia. Oh, hey, Kalia. How are you? How are you doing, Kalia? Hope your day is going well. Sorry, I'm trying to look for this. Something I was reading that I wanted to talk about, but I keep on
Shout out to Kishroom.
Kalia sent that message. That was a lot of emojis.
A lot
What
of
was the
emojis.
thinking one for? It's only one. It's one of them that looked mean. What's that one for? What's she mad about? That's a hidden message.
So Johnny Two Socks is going to be happy to know that for some reason over here all we can see is Twitch. That means it's going to be like all Johnny Two Socks all day here.
I'm going good, thank you. Hope you guys are doing well. We alright, Johnny too.
It's good to see everyone today. We're glad. Sorry, we're.
It can always be better. We got some loud.
Some neighbors.
Yeah.
Like some people.
Like their voices are like loud, like it projects.
How's the audio sound today? Because, sometimes I listen back to the show and every once in a while it sort of sounds like we're on the phone even though we're not. It should sound good. If it doesn't sound good, you need to tell us. Just putting it on you guys.
How do you follow people?
Oh yeah, Johnny Two Socks, that reminds me, because we used to be Disrupt Boston, or the account was, and now it's Disrupt America, and Twitch was making me wait like 30 days.
How do you unfollow people?
How do you unfollow them?
Yeah.
Without like defriending them, you mean?
No, I know how to defriend them. I just block them.
Mm-hmm. But you just want to unfollow them so you don't see their stuff anymore?
Yeah.
If you go to it, I'll show you.
I got a girl that be stalking me. That be posting a lot of stuff and I don't be wanting to see it.
There's a weird background noise.
Oh, is it that sound again? Why does that always happen?
Yeah, I don't know. There is a... Do. Maybe, is it gone now?
Sorry, it's just
Now we're probably back. Is the weird sound there again? Yeah, see, then we muted. Now we're probably back. Is the weird sound there again?
we literally watching this.
I know, it's kind of stupid, huh?
That's kind of weird. That's crazy. We get to see like back in time. It stopped. Thank you. Yeah, we've been having this alien issue. We've been having aliens come visit.
Well, I think what it is that the
like
board needs to be like messed with every single time. So the mics we have are not powered mics, which means there's a setting on the board to make it so that you can actually hear the mics so that it sends power. And it's like, yeah, Johnny, I'm past the point where I can change the name now. I just have to remember to go back and do it. But this whole thing made me re-log in today, and it's like all Twitch crazy, which isn't going to work for me in the long run. Because we can see Johnny over here. I don't need to...
Yeah. Like I said, we was having an alien issue. I don't know what Mike talking about, but we've been having an alien issue. We had some outer space people come last night. It was asking us some questions, and it was asking about our network and how we use it. So we were showing them, and they was trying to hook it up to their ship, because they were trying to get Wi-Fi on their ship, because they don't get Wi-Fi here, apparently. I don't think their Wi-Fi is like ours. So yeah, they was trying to hook up, and Mike had to teach them. I kind of entertained them a little bit. But yeah, then they left, and they kind of left a few sounds that didn't leave. Sounds like a vibe on a glass table. Hell nah. Dan said it sounds like a vibrator on a book on a glass coffee table. That's funny.
Dan, if you can send us an audio recording of you,
because
I'm not sure
exactly what that sound like.
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to put the sounds together.
So yeah, we do have Grant Smith on today, which is awesome. And as usual, I always feel like I need to apologize to every guest because we're running late. But
also, Grant don't want to.
And
Grant don't want to be on our show. He's like, man, we gotta come on this show again. Can he hear us?
He can totally hear us. What's going on, Grant?
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
What's
good,
up, Grant?
Good. So, Grant has an amazing microphone. I remember a while back, he was telling me that he was ordering
Grandmaster. I ain't forget.
And it's called like the Blue Yeti.
You gotta put Grandmaster on this thing. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh.
We gotta make this stick. You're not understanding it.
Grandmaster, it's Grandmaster Grant.
We have a limited
right?
time to make this stick.
It's GMG, it's Grandmaster Grant.
Grandmaster Grant. Yeah, we have a limited time to make this stick, so we have to make sure everybody is saying it, because there we go. Grandmaster Grant. That's a beast nickname, yo.
I'm not going to fight it.
Man.
I love it. That's like the best response we've gotten from Grant in a while. Yeah, we are totally late, and we really appreciate everyone being patient and still joining us, and for Grant especially. And Grant, I'd love to make sure that we still we're making it a regular thing on Saturdays. And I needed to force you, because you're such a regular fixture. In my mind, you were such a regular fixture that I wasn't putting you in the sort of changing schedule of guests, or Heather wasn't. It's my fault. But I want to make sure that you're here on Saturdays. So today we had another guest also that was supposed to join the show, and they were in a fire and they got burned. They
Oh
were
no,
like injured.
they were
injured.
physically hurt in a fire.
Yeah, they apparent, and I don't know all of the details. This is just what they told us. So, you know,
Oh wow.
and I'll because we're good and bad at not always pre-announcing guests that are gonna come on.
We had some crazy things happen to our guests.
It's true. It's really true. Well, and I think part of that though is just we have so many guests in the long run that are coming on. I guess that's gonna happen sometimes.
Oh, stupid. This is stressful.
Eric's still trying to figure out how he works his mic. So you have like a little tiny mic. Grant got himself this awesome, amazing mic, and it's also like, Grant, hold it up for a second. I remember the first time that we had Grant on the show, and I had somebody that wrote to us, Grant, and they were like, what is that big black ball that you're putting? They thought we were putting like a black ball in front of your face. They're like, why are you obscuring Grant's face with that thing? And it's really that Grant had just gotten this amazing new microphone that makes him sound awesome. And but it's big. It's called a Yeti.
Yeti? Oh, is that made by the company Yeti? That company?
I don't know. The one thing I like about it, although it does obscure or obfuscate my mouth as I'm talking, is it's kind of circular in the shape of my mustache. So I kind of like how the black ball kind of goes right in the line with the mustache.
Yeah.
But yes, I definitely have to talk right into it to get the best sound. So
You sort of look like a fighter pilot with it in front of your face. It's pretty awesome. By the way, and I don't want to get anyone's hopes up too much, but I talked to Grant this morning, and I think we should go out for ice cream.
Grant?
With
you
Grant.
getting his ice cream, Grant?
No, we're gonna take him for ice cream.
Oh. We getting you ice cream, Grant?
he heard I broke my foot and he wanted to take me for ice cream.
Oh,
I
you
said
broke
that was
your
very
foot? How
nice
you break
of
your
him.
foot?
I broke my medial tibial bone for the third time in 3 months.
Oh,
Is it like a broke or a fracture?
Fracture.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a lot better. I was gonna say broke is pretty. Yeah, that's because you shouldn't walk on it.
I'm not walking on it. I have a boot on and I have to get surgery in a few months.
Oof.
Yeah.
Foot surgery? That's not good.
it's never fun because it's like weight bearing, right?
Yeah, that means you gotta be balanced the whole time.
No walking for me. I'm a little frustrated. I like to
broke
walk.
my 2 toes on my 2 pinky toes, the 2 outside toes on my right foot, pass rushing. And that was probably one of the worst injuries because I didn't realize how much you use your pinky toes until you break them. And I'm like, I always thought like, why do we have a pinky toe? Like, why is it even there? But once you break it, then you realize why it's there. And it's pretty important.
Yeah, I realized right away when I love walking. I don't get out of the house a lot, but I try to walk with my cane every day. And as soon as I broke my foot, I realized that was not going to happen for a while. So.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. So he's it's not easier for him to be getting out. So I think we should head up there and we'll go get some ice cream or something.
Very kind of you guys to think of me.
I like maple walnut.
Yeah, what's your favorite flavor, Grant?
White chocolate mousse.
Ooh, okay, white chocolate.
Oh, I never heard that.
He's into the white chocolate.
I think it's because I ate TCBY a lot growing up, and they had a white chocolate mousse, and I developed a taste for it.
Mm-hmm. You know, Grant, what I like, one of the things that I like about our show is that whenever everyone sees Grant Smith on air and other places, he's reporting like hard-hitting news, and then when we have Grant on, we all get to like talk about ice cream and going out to have some fun. And I kind of like, I don't know, it's I get it, Grant. Like we're gonna get to the good stuff. We're gonna get to the cannabis stuff, but I kind of like this part too. I like people getting to know Grant. Like there's people in the audience that are everyone's sending you like healing thoughts and lots of good stuff. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that you were injured, and it's because Grant never complains about anything. Grant just...
Man, I didn't even know that. You ain't
No, not worry.
Yeah, you ain't
You
supposed
guys,
to let people. You ain't supposed to let people know your injuries. Never let them know your weakness. Never let
well,
them know.
I don't get out of the house very much anyway, so I'm blessed in a lot of ways that I've
Wasn't it a
found.
president that was in a wheelchair, but like he always tried to hide the fact that he was in a wheelchair?
That was FDR. He
FDR,
developed
yeah.
polio in the
Yeah.
early 30s before he was president. And he recovered at this Warm Springs in Georgia to the point where he was functional. But unfortunately, he lost the use of his legs. And he had an agreement with the press. There was no press office back then. There was just some press who would travel with the president. The Secret Service would turn off their cameras before he would get out of cars. And the reason why is so that no video or pictures would exist.
Yeah.
But there are a few videos and pictures of FDR getting into his wheelchair and rolling around in them. And what's fascinating is the Secret Service even had to do advanced details where they would go to towns where FDR was going to speak and build special stages that would obscure the view of the wheelchair so he could give a speech without the public seeing. Very cool.
Yeah. I remember watching a few YouTube videos on that, and they were showing.
Well, what I was saying is I'm blessed in a lot of ways. I know the coronavirus has been very difficult on people, and it's something I am acutely aware of. But the world, having shifted into this digital medium over the past few months, for those of us who are homebound and disabled, we've actually been able to participate in the public sphere, and I mean our institutions of democracy, our regulatory institutions, shows like this. It's been a lot easier for us as disabled people to participate. And so while I'm sorry so many of you able-bodied people have had to go through this coronavirus experience, by the same token, I hope that the experiences we've learned about accessibility for the disabled during this time are carried forward to future policy developments. And in particular, I hope state lawmakers and regulators adapt a digital format for people to participate, because that's really changed my life and really has allowed me to feel like I'm a citizen again. So
can I just say something? First of all, bravo, Grant. And second of all, that was like Grant's version of like, that was like Grant being like, hey, like, Grant was, and that was also Grant, and I can't blur them, but that was also like Grant being like, hey, everybody, boo, I got something for you in my pocket here. Like, Grant's like, that's right.
Be coming with some hitters.
Wait, who's Jordan? Jordan increased your capacity for empathy. Yeah, I think that you're right, Grant. And I think also what I hope is that even as things, you know, as people feel like they can get out there more and sort of mix with people in person more and more, I hope that a lot of the shows are still bringing in people remotely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that there's still a healthy mix of that. I hope that a lot of the shows, you know, feel more comfortable with the idea of Zoom. I know back in the day, we were always sort of, when I say we, I just mean things I've worked on. It was always, you know, we always really wanted to try to get people there in person because the audio's better, the production's a little bit easier, but certainly, the converse side of that is just that you can get amazing people to come on also, like, and it's a lot of, if they don't have to come to a physical location to appear, then that's great, and I also think too that this has all been getting us, like, even you, right? Like, you got yourself a really good microphone. Like, people out there are getting lighting. They're caring about, like, how they're looking on camera. And I think in general, it's not a bad thing. I think it's helping people to, I think the shut-in stuff and all the Zoom stuff just forced people to, like, pay attention to themselves on camera more, and be willing to participate in that stuff, So I think it's a good thing.
Certainly.
So Grant, other than, and by the way, and I'm just totally joking when I say this, but if for some reason your caregiver is ever being a little too mean, you just gotta blink 3 times, okay? And then we'll keep an eye out for that.
Nah, who your caregiver is anyway? Go out the rough.
I have so my disability, I think I've talked a little bit about it, but I had a surgery that went wrong, and it's causing my esophagus to penetrate into my airway and vice versa. And so my primary disability has to do with that and the way it affects my nerves going into my face and eye. But because of the issue with the airway, I asphyxiate when I vomit. And so I have to have someone live with me because I've had some issues where I've had some nausea overnight, vomited, and woke up blacked out because I asphyxiated. So less than pleasant, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes understanding disabilities requires a little bit of an in-depth explanation. So
no, and I apologize. I didn't mean to like introduce something that sort of forced you to talk about something that you might not have wanted to, but I do appreciate the sort of like the transparency around it, because it's good for people to know, like it's not, it's real easy, sometimes when we think about people who have disabilities, you just sort of like, we're happy to sort of just take it at a very face value, and, because certainly knowing more, sort of, I think, causes people to feel a level of increased discomfort sometimes, but I think that's a good thing. I think it's good for us to understand that, because a lot of times there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, people with, yes, we should help people with disabilities, but we're always facing like people trying to cut funds, and that's one of the places that it always just feels like people are willing to dip into monies intended to help people, and I don't know, it's good. I think it's good for us to also just know, like I'm very happy that you have the capability to have somebody to help you, if you need help. And I think we just all need to, in a world where we need more empathy, I don't think it's a bad thing at all to like, when folks with disabilities are willing to talk about it a little bit, I think it's great for us to have that conversation and listen to it,
yeah, sure. And I certainly don't mind talking about it. I don't go out of my way to, make it the defining characteristic of my life. In fact, I'd prefer to do the opposite, and I, try not to talk about it. But I also understand the responsibility and the duty I have as someone who's lived through a very serious disability to give a voice to those who might not otherwise be able to participate in our democratic process. So I balance those responsibilities, and I very much think that it's a foundational ethos of our democracy that if you strip someone of their ability to participate, they'll end up being put in a position where they get taken advantage of. So having folks from the disabled community involved in the public sphere is always a positive, in my opinion.
Well said. Good morning, Hako, and to some of the other folks that have joined us, and Amanda and Laura Lee.
Amanda, Hako.
And I have to say that I'm always happy when Grant comes on the show, because like
you always have moments of explosion.
But also the level of grammar. Like I like to think that like I can talk a little bit, and then Grant comes on and it makes me realize that like it always reminds me that I have like room to grow with my ability to actually speak to people on the fly. Like Grant always has it so nailed down. It's amazing.
You flatter me. I think that the way we speak and write tends to reflect the material we consume day to day, whether it be audiobooks or regular books or the human beings we're around. And so my syntactical precision is really just a side effect of constantly listening to audiobooks from the 17th and 18th century. So it's not me really, it's just the books I listen to.
Well, I'll tell you what though, is that the English language from that era was very specific about particular words meaning particular things. And over time, the sort of like total word count that we're all learning in school has sort of decreased. So a lot of the more like complex or specific words that have specific meanings aren't really getting absorbed by a lot of folks that are to use it in general conversation, right?
Yeah, this was an intentional choice, unfortunately. In the early 20th century, there were some debates in the United States Congress, particularly revolving around Thomas Dewey, who's a famous mathematician that went on to invent the Dewey Decimal System for categorizing books in libraries and such. There was a very contentious debate. So, the United States has the Prussian education model, which came out of Germany in the 1880s. And that's why kindergarten is called kindergarten, because our system is adopted from the Prussian model, which is modern day Germany. And what happened was, so we adapted the Prussian model in the late 1800s. And then in the early 1900s, Thomas Dewey and some of these lawmakers were thinking about how to structure the implementation of the education model. And there was a specific conversation in this sort of committee about whether or not we would teach American students how to memorize words based on sight or memorize them based on phonetic pronunciation. The reason why Dewey wanted to have children memorize them based on sight is it results in more of it results in less critical thinking. When you have to memorize words by how they look rather than how they sound, you aren't able to think as critically, you aren't able to have as varied a lexicon and such. So Dewey said that the best way to prevent a repeat of the populist uprising that we saw in the late 1800s, which led to eventually the formation of the Bull Moose Party in 1912, was to dumb down the populace by forcing them to learn words in the public education system based on sight. Well, other people said that's going to entirely destroy the ability of the public to hold its leaders to account and such, and therefore we should teach them phonetic pronunciation and reading, because that will allow them to utilize the full suite of words available in the language. Well, Dewey won. We implemented the sight memorization method, which is why a lot of those listening will know that you took spelling tests in school where you memorized words and then had to spell them. And the reason for that, as I said, was intentional to do exactly what you're talking about, which was to take the power of language away from the polity and hand it over instead to a specific group of elites who could then dictate public policy from the top down.
Yeah, it's amazing. I never thought I'd see the word "ain't" in the dictionary. There's, and I get it. We're supposed to start including you and I don't get to choose what, if people want to, make a new word, we don't get to decide that that's not reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they get to make a new word. If it's commonly used, then it maybe deserves to be in the dictionary. But it's just really interesting. It's also really interesting, a lot of words that are commonly used, and I'm trying to think of an example, but like that folks generally have a misconception of what the word actually means. So it sort of eventually becomes, it sort of ends up meaning something else, There
are very serious consequences, though, I should be clear. There are very serious consequences of this degradation of the cogency of language. And funny enough, it's actually what I was studying in graduate school. I don't think I've talked about it on this show. But when I was at BC, Boston College, when I was studying in graduate school, when I felt disabled, I was actually developing a quantitative methodology to examine the cogency of public discourse as an indicator of political legitimacy in democratic republics. And what I mean by that is I was developing a method to look at how accurate what people talk about in the public sphere is compared to what our lawmakers and regulators are talking about. And so when the public uses lackadaisical syntax, what they end up doing is stripping their own agency in the democratic process and alienating their ability to hold their elected officials and lawmakers accountable, because those lawmakers will then be talking about things that the public can't understand. And so long as the public can't understand what the lawmakers and regulators are talking about, there's no reciprocal check on the behavior of those lawmakers and regulators in the form of cogent public discourse. So it's a very serious problem, and you've identified it quite precisely, Michael.
Well, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's not that I consider myself to be a smart person. I was just lucky enough that my mom was a school teacher. And so, I was fortunate that as a young child, before I started going to school, that she had already been working on, she was a school teacher. She was a first grade school teacher. It was sort of, it made sense that she'd have children and teach them a lot of the same stuff that she was teaching kids in school, but maybe a little earlier. So I was fortunate enough to sort of have like a nice baseline to go into school with. But even still, I don't consider myself to, there's always so much, more that we can learn. And these days, I just feel like my vocabulary isn't nearly as extensive as I want it to be. And there's times when I find that especially in writing, that I'll use a very specific word because I intend something specific, and that there's still people out there that like misconstrue what I'm saying, despite the fact that I was trying to be very careful about like using a specific word that meant something in particular, So it's, and by the way, even to your sort of, I think what I really wanted to mention was that the idea of constituents not necessarily being able to hold elected officials accountable because of a lack of truly being able to understand what maybe politicians are saying when they're being verbose and using sort of like more flowery words or even words that mean very specific things. And then it's not even just us being able to understand it. It's as we're sharing that, as we're like trying to absorb the intent of what is going on. And then, everyone, we love crying fake news these days. And the reality is that the proliferation of fake news is really from all of us sharing fake news. Like there's actually very few people that are consuming real legitimate news anywhere, and most of us, the way that we're consuming our news is because we see something in our Facebook feed and we read it. And it's not just an emotional context that sometimes people are putting to that news. It's also literally sometimes misinformation because, I don't know. It's an interesting issue. It's an interesting.
What it is it's a backlash against what the media did through the course of the 20th century by virtue of things like, for example, yellow journalism, right? William Randolph Hearst and his fight with Joseph Pulitzer, and then the transition to the Operation Mockingbird era where, the CIA and other three-letter agencies started planting employees in the media throughout the United States. What ended up happening was there was a centralization of the control over the flow of information. And it got to the point where we lived in this plastic, artificial, corporate-defined reality that it was otherwise known as the 1990s. And in that world, it was very comfortable. It was very easy to live. But in reality, what was happening was the reason why it was that comfortable is that information related to when things were going wrong wasn't actually permeating throughout the public. And so what's happened is what you see with the rise of social media is very much an organic backlash against that centralization of control in a way that there are a lot of bad things that happen on social media. There are a lot of negatives. There's a lot of horrible things said, and there are a lot of people who get viciously attacked and have their personal details spread, sometimes justified, sometimes they should have that done to them. But my point is that it's a Wild West atmosphere, but to me, it redeems itself and the positives outweigh the negatives in the way in which it's able to engender the voice of individual people in the larger social lawmaking process and the regulatory process. And the reason why I find that so special is there was a time when someone like myself, perhaps yourself, and others in the local grassroots community would not have been able to have a voice on the level that we do now. And so to some extent, I think there are pitfalls of what social media facilitates, whether it be the proliferation of false information or otherwise. I see it as a liberating force that is moving society towards a better future. And I just think it requires an element of community oversight. And if you see people who are doing things like, using slurs or whatever it may be, it's the community's imperative to call it out. And I see that happening, which I like.
Yeah, yes. And I think even now, we're hopefully hitting an age of maybe increased accountability. And we do see that happening in some areas, and I think that's a good thing. And I mean, in the long run, I think, no matter how we personally feel about a lot of things that are allowed to be on some level opinions, within society, we're all allowed to think different things, but I think it's also important to try to remain respectful and also to understand we're all coming from different places, and so sometimes, at least on a lot of issues, we definitely need to show patience and compassion with some folks, and we're definitely right now in a very acute learning, I think, environment, right? I think there's a lot of issues that are coming around that are forcing people to sort of have conversations and rethink things, and I think the thing is that at least for me, I've seen a lot of people like going through growth, and so even if we might not all agree about everything, but I think it's important that there's like forward progress, and to be at least to be able to recognize for some people that for a lot of people, I think we just need to I think it's important for us to all try to help each other and to have conversations with each other sometimes that are even difficult, but I think it's also important to realize that there's the capacity for growth in most people, and we can all hopefully try to strive to do better in a lot of things, right?
Yeah, like some of the people in the comments. My bad, Grant, I had to interrupt it. He said, social media is mean, like Eric's bald head looks like his neck blew a bubble.
Johnny Dube. And then he said, that's a horrible statement.
My neck blew a bubble. I've never heard that. That was actually clever since I had to think about it for a while. But carry on. Sorry, that was.
No, Johnny Two Socks. Eric didn't actually give you the finger. No, you would have known. You would have known if he.
Oh Lordy.
Eric doesn't secretly give anyone the finger.
Yeah, I just do it.
So
I'm glad that it wasn't said in a hostile way, but I think the point I wanted to come back to there was we're confronting a very serious ethical question as a society, which is what do you do in a society that's supposed to be defined by toleration when you're confronted with intolerant people? Are you supposed to justify their intolerance because you're tolerant of them? And a famous philosopher named Karl Popper actually laid out this paradox. He called it the paradox of toleration in the 1950s. And it is still an open paradox to this day in academic philosophy because it is very difficult to envision a system that can regulate the interactions between overlapping comprehensive doctrines in a way that is tolerant but not tolerant of intolerance. However, there is a way that someone has actually developed this idea, and that's what I wanted to leave you with, which I think is very interesting. And it's called the original position. Another term of it is the veil of ignorance. And it was created by one of my favorite philosophers, John Rawls, who worked at Harvard from the 70s through the early 2000s before he passed away. And what he said is to think about what kind of ideas you would welcome in the public sphere. Ask yourself, what rules would you develop for participation in that, public arena if you didn't know where you were going to end up? If you had no idea when making the rules whether you were going to be in a lower class, a higher class, one race or another, how would you define the rules so that you would make sure you were not treated unfairly? And that thought exercise led Rawls to develop something called overlapping consensus, where he basically says society is like a Venn diagram, where you have a bunch of people who belong to these comprehensive worldviews like Catholicism, Judaism, atheism, anarcho-syndicalism, capitalism, etc. These forces with these overlapping comprehensive doctrines all have to interact. And what Rawls does is something very creative. He says those ideas should be allowed in the public sphere, but only to talk about the things that they believe that are tolerant. Whenever there's an intolerant view, Rawls says, we should exclude those ideas and force them behind closed doors and humiliate them. And what's really interesting is that Rawls got this distinction from Immanuel Kant of all people. And Kant had this conception of the distinction between a position you take in public as, say, an elected official versus a position you take in private as a member of your family. So it's really interesting to think about how all those forces and worldviews and the roles we play in society come together to define our existence. And I think it's really interesting. So.
You know what I find interesting is that our audience actually has been loving the discussion this morning.
Were we not expecting to have an academic philosophy class?
It's interesting because at least for me, where the sort of the format that Eric and I think of this show, there's probably topics that like I don't even think of addressing on the show, and I think it's, I don't know, I think it's great that we have these kind of conversations. I think it's important to, and I also just think it's important. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure where I'm going with it, but
should we do a quick update on the Cannabis Control Commission before I let you guys get on to topics that are more engaging?
Please.
Yes. So this is a big week in the world of the Cannabis Control Commission. Folks know I was on just a few days ago. I gave an update on the last commission meeting relative to new testing laboratories and things like that. What's really interesting is that starting this Friday, the Cannabis Control Commission is going to start what's called a regulatory revision. And this means they're going to be looking at all of their rules regarding medical cannabis use, adult use cannabis, and they're going to be redrafting some of them. Now, this is a positive in a lot of ways, and we'll find out more on Wednesday because it gives them the chance to do things like expand access to cannabis for financial hardship patients. It does things like give them the chance to allow more patients to have caregivers, because right now there are caregivers who do pro bono grows for patients, but they're limited to only doing that for one patient at a time. And then it also will hopefully help clarify some of the distinctions between when a grower, be it a home grower or otherwise, is growing a plant. Right now, when that plant crosses the 8-inch threshold, it becomes what's called an adult or mature plant. But it's possible to, as I'm sure a lot of folks know from watching your grow segments, it's possible to have a plant that's 18 inches tall and still what's called in the vegetation process. Now, a plant in the vegetation process can't actually produce or yield any psychoactive cannabis. So classifying a plant that is not mature as mature simply because it's over 8 inches is a little confusing. So all these issues and more are going to be discussed starting Friday at the Cannabis Control Commission. And I have a feeling next Saturday when I come back, I'm going to have a lot of updates to give folks. And at that time, folks will also get some more information about how they can reach out to the commission to support any policies they like in the regulatory revision and oppose any that they may not like.
Yeah, that's excellent. And Grant, one thing I would also point out is that there's a sort of a conflict between the idea that there's a plant count limit and then also forcing the idea that an 8-inch plant, anything over an 8-inch plant is considered an adult. Just by the nature, yes, you can turn a 9-inch plant and force it to start to flower. But folks that normally do that are doing so because they don't have a plant count limit. So then it makes sense to have more smaller plants that would eventually equate, hopefully, the same amount of cannabis and medicine that would result from, less plants, but that had grown larger. And really a lot of businesses out there, a lot of legal cannabis businesses actually go the route of working with far more smaller plants as opposed to letting those plants vegetate even longer. You can actually force an additional harvest every year simply by working with more smaller plants. I think they usually call that like a sea of green. But that said, what would probably be nice is for home grows to be allowed, the plant count limit seems kind of silly. it just strikes me that the limitation should really be based on something else, and there should be accommodations also for the fact that different skill sets allow for vastly different amounts of cannabis to be grown within the same footprint and within the same space, you know?
Yeah, I like the idea personally of a square footage requirement or limit for both adult use and medical use grows. How exactly that's going to come through the process, I don't know. We're going to have to pay very close attention next Saturday, but I can assure you that I'll be here with the regulations in hand to parse through every word of it, and we'll quickly get up to date on what's being proposed, and we'll change it, or at least try to change it by speaking to the CCC via public comment and feedback if we can.
Awesome. Grant, I appreciate you hanging out with us for so long today. Thank you so much for being patient, considering how late I was running yet again. And we're really just happy that you're willing to join us and to hang out and chat with us. And it's nice to get updates on the Massachusetts cannabis regulatory scene, but it's also really nice to just spend some time talking with you and just kind of talking about some things other than cannabis too. So it was really nice.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I was not expecting to talk about my story today, so I'm really grateful for the chance to have been able to share, and I'm glad we were able at all times to link it back to some kind of policy discussion, whether it be the cogency of public discourse or otherwise. So I always enjoy coming on with you guys. I'm looking forward to my lunch now, and I'm sure we'll touch base very soon.
Awesome, and we're looking forward to going out and grabbing some ice cream with you, man.
Well, I'll definitely stay in touch. I'm looking forward to finding some white chocolate mousse yogurt, so we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you, Grant. We'll see
Have
you
a good
soon.
day, guys.
Grant Smith, he's awesome.
Hey, Jordan be rushing us.
Jordan was like, hey, "Yeah, you're ready to sing."
Come on, Jordan. My man Jordan got us on the agenda. He's like, stay on the clock. We got things to do now.
Yeah, he's like, you might have been late, but you're not finishing late. You might have started late. You know, it's interesting because I was thinking about that. I was actually thinking, like, wouldn't it be cool to have Grant sing us out? And then I was like, people are going to be mad because we started like so late. That means the show would be like an hour long, which is weird. Which would be weird for us to only have a show an hour long.
Yeah, what time did we start? Like 10:30?
Oh, we started even later than that. It was like 10:50.
Grant doesn't get to sing.
So Grant was ready. Grant needed to get off. You know what?
We'll get him to sing.
But you know what? Grant is smart. You want to know why?
Because he probably been watching the end of the show and realized, yo, I don't want to sing, so I'm not.
And somebody was like, hey, Grant, your lunch is ready. And Grant was like, fuck this show. Fuck this show, I'm out. I'm going to get my lunch. Like, whatever that lunch is, he's like, guys, I love you guys, but I got my priorities right now, and that is lunchtime.
No, Grant will get to sing next time. We'll tag him in one time.
Grant always gets to sing if he wants to sing.
But when we sing, that means it's the end of the show. So
that's I know. And Joe and Jordan was trying to. Jordan's like, yo.
You guys have a nice day. Just popping in before work. Joey P.
What's up, Joey?
You ain't coming in with you gotta come in with the A like you was the hype man in the comments.
Yeah, Joey, we haven't been seeing Joey much.
Don't be slacking now. Don't be slacking. No hard times has come, but you gotta stay strong and do your job. That's what the Patriots say. Do your job. If we losing, do your job. If we winning, do your job. If it's 1 second on the clock, do your job. You do your job until that clock say 0. So Joey P, we ain't done with episodes yet, so you better keep coming in here being a hype man for us. I just wanted to hear him
Jordan,
sing.
you know what Jordan's like, if you're gonna make me sing, then everybody needs to sing.
I know, right? He was like, yo.
F you guys.
He was like, I want to make sure I wasn't the only person to mess up. Hey, let me tell you, everybody mess up. Everybody mess up.
I mean, it's a song that's meant to be messed up anyway. Like, that's not even a...
Past Nation, do your job. Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
probably.
The message is in the first
Oh, so there's two things that we need to. There's definitely one thing that we should need to talk about. So the food fundraising thing is done. We raised a ton of money. Healthy Futures Farms. Healthy Futures Farms is actually going to turn that into a tremendous amount of food that's going to get distributed out to people who are in need of it. So we're really excited for that. In other words, we were raising money and we were saying like, oh, it's going to feed this many people. It's feeding over double the people. Just so you all know, like the money that got raised for that is doing much better good than what we were trying to we were trying to like be cautiously optimistic about it. And come to find out the money we raise is going to feed way more people than we thought. So we're super psyched about that. Here's an issue. So if you remember, there's like a drawing that goes along with this and there's prizes. Well, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say exactly what happened, but let's just say that like the sneakers are gone. The whole sneaker thing is gone, so we need to find a replacement thing for the sneakers. And so I'm going to have to ask the actual people who donated money if they're comfortable with the idea of us replacing the giveaway. We're going to do a drawing, so anyone who donated money gave money towards the effort. So we need to figure that out, because I know that a few people donated because they were like, those sneakers are dope, and so we definitely want those sneakers. So Heather Marie, so that's the thing, is we got to figure it out, and maybe, Amanda, it's only because we said there didn't have to be, but we said that there was going to be, so I feel like that means we should do it. And there are a few other prizes, like both Irva and Hempt had agreed to like include a little something so that a few extra people could win something. But the real big thing had been the sneakers. So, and Amanda, and so many of you, I know, I'm not trying to guilt everyone out of Johnny Tuzak, sneakers are gone, want me on the case? I can find them.
What the hell? Hell no, John. Actually, yeah, go do that for us. We'd love to see what information you bring back, because we want to know if it's factual or not, Johnny. We need to know who you are and what type of work you do. Because I might want to hire you for my own personal things. I got some personal vendettas I want taken care of. You know, we all got some personal vendettas we all want taken care of. So, Johnny, I need you to do your investigation. Come back and we'll grade you then.
That would be a cool prize. You get to have ice cream with Eric, Mike, and Grant.
Ice cream? Look, I like maple. Look, if that's a prize, I gotta pay.
Taxes is like a reverse prize. You won the ability to buy all of this ice cream. It's going to be expensive because we like good ice cream, but I love those prizes or something. No, well, so I hear everyone. It's just, and I know it was a worthy cause, and I know nobody out there is going to admit to being like, I just did it for the sneakers, but I just feel like that's the right thing to do. Is
what? Get out my stuff! Hey, this dude always looking at my stuff. God damn, no, sometimes my shit cool. You know what I'm saying? They send me an email.
No, just sometimes when I'm like, oh, because usually you're like scrolling through a feed, and I'm like, usually you're looking at something interesting.
Yeah,
so I just happen to look over to be like, oh, what kind of cool stuff are you looking at? And I'm like, oh, that's not.
Yeah, he sent me an email. They was like, hey, we updated your monitor alert. We wanted to see you. I was like, okay, let me see where my shit at now.
And I'm like,
shit, yeah, man, you know, I need to call her. We need to talk. Shoot, we gotta give you some, you know, man.
Jordan Clark says the Ben & Jerry's Vermonster is like 30 scoops of ice cream. There's a there's a Ben and
Sure,
Jerry's
let's do
shop.
it.
There's a Ben and Jerry's shop in Providence. There's like an
What's
actual
up, Jordan?
Ben
You
and
trying to
Jerry's.
go? We get it. I'm down. I just can't eat for a day though. I gotta be like starving. 30 scoops. I could probably eat a scoop in like two spoons.
Oh, are we having a contest? This sounds like a contest.
And I can eat 1 scoop and 2 spoon bites. So 30, it'll take me about 60 bites. 60 bites is a lot. And I'm like, whew. But I try it though. It can't have no chocolate in it though. I'm not doing the chocolate. Especially if it start to melt and then the chocolate melt with the other.
Jordan's like,
I'm down. I got
we're
it.
talking about,
Yeah,
he's like, you understand Ben and Jerry's 30 scoops is probably going to be like $100. He's like, we're going to bust out the COVID trick. This shit's going to be expensive. 30 scoops of ice cream. Like, one of those little pints are like $5. Can you imagine? That's like two, 3 scoops in there.
Ben and Jerry's better treat us right when we come in there. All I know. Hey, we go in there, they better be like, I better see this. And all the employees when we walk. When we walk in, it better be like walking into the what was that movie? The Black Panther? What was that called? What was the superhero movie? What was his name?
Black Panther.
That's what it was? Yeah. That's what it was? That's what it was?
Well, that's one of them. There's a bunch of not a bunch.
I'm talking the movie that just came out.
Like
what was it called?
Black Panther.
Yeah, when they walk in, they better do
Wakanda.
this. They better do that when we walk in. That's all I know. If they don't do that, I don't believe they for.
Eric said that his favorite ice cream flavor is maple walnut. My favorite flavor is coffee, but nobody's asking about that, are they?
Coffee? Ew.
Coffee ice cream. I love coffee ice cream.
Who goes to an ice cream shop and say, hey?
Because it doesn't taste like black coffee. It tastes like sweet coffee. Remember the coffee milk? I let you try coffee milk and you liked it.
Who goes to an ice cream parlor and say, I want to get coffee?
Me.
That's just no. You go there to get something outrageous. Cotton candy, butter pecan with extra stuff. You get maple walnut with extra walnuts. Come on, you don't go there and get coffee. Yeah, let me get 2 scoops of the coffee.
You know what else I like that's weird?
What?
This
is your dessert?
Is sherbet. Is sherbet.
Sherbet ice cream is fire. I don't care what you say.
Like raspberry and orange sherbet.
All
Man, I love it.
sherbets
It's like
is
refreshing.
good.
That's actually refreshing.
All sherbets is good especially when you starving for it. Like when you ain't had sherbet in forever, and then somebody be like, "Yo, I got you this sherbet ice cream." You be like, "What? You got me sherbet? What the heck?" And then you taste it, you like, "Oh my god, can I believe sherbet is really like this?"
Johnny Two Socks is with you, by the way. So can I tell you something? One thing I actually really love about this show is that some days we have like crazy serious discussions, and then other days we're like, favorite ice cream.
Goodbye, boys. Back to NYC.
Who said that?
It's paradise. The only one to be on our show. I order coffee ice cream. Fight me. Hey, Jessica. This wasn't part of your conversation. You weren't supposed to be in this conversation.
Jessica's the one person in the audience. Jessica, can I tell you? Jessica, you're the one person in the audience that if they say "fight me," Eric's like,
"Nah, I'm
no."
cool. Hey,
everyone else can be like, "Yeah, come on."
Hey, look, I'm not fighting Jessica.
Wait, what's Lady J saying? Lady J, I love black raspberry.
How do you order coffee ice cream? What do they look at you funny? Do the waitress do the person look at you funny? Like, yeah, nobody buys this. You know how you can see all the ice cream buckets. Coffee is always full, and it be having like 1 or 2 scoops snatched out of it. And you be like, bro, somebody was testing that to see if it was good. They didn't get a scoop. That's like 15 test spoons.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's funny though. Hey, look, I'll tell you, if you go to the ice cream store right now, drive to the ice cream store and look at all the choices and look at coffee. I guarantee coffee ain't even open yet. They ain't even flipped the lid open yet because they know it. Don't nobody get that till 7, 8 o'clock at night and it be 1 scoop. Look at all the ice creams that be messed up. Any ice cream that's colored like blue or strawberry looking, them be the ones that be snatched up. Vanilla is always snatched up because people got kids and kids is mad picky and vanilla is the go-to to give to them. Butter pecan is always snatched up because who don't like butter pecan? Even the name just is attractive. What else is usually be in there? Some kind of sherbet, that's gonna be gone because it's sherbet. And then they be having chocolate. And chocolate is gonna get gone because who don't like chocolate besides me? I don't like chocolate because I am chocolate. Chocolate don't like itself. That would make me double chocolate, but I'm just a single chocolate, so.
Double chocolate.
Come on, I had to eat myself if I like chocolate. That'd be sitting here like, damn, it tastes good.
So Jessica said that she puts autocrat coffee syrup on her ice cream, and I am ready for that all day long. And Sheila, tell me where you got your coffee.
Let's see how many likes you get on that comment.
Sheila, where'd you get your coffee? Sheila lives around here, so Sheila, where'd you get your coffee frap from? Because I'm ready. I'm ready for a coffee frap.
Ooh, I'm telling you, y'all know. Look at, we could create a computer version model that tests out this theory. Just saying, exactly. We should, because I'm telling you, ain't nobody. Look at, you go to the store and you see that coffee color, that brown, that what is it, like mud brown colored ice cream. You like, yo, maple walnut is mud colored brown too, but you see the walnut, so it's like, all right, that's cool, we got walnuts. But you see coffee ice cream and it's like mud brown. It's like
so maple walnut's just not like mud with chunks in it?
Yeah, but it's called maple. Maple is the word that solidifies the goodness of the ice cream. When you say maple anything, maple syrup, maple pancakes, maple anything, you be like, yo, that's fire, it's maple. And then you understand why it's that color, because maple's that color. But then when you say coffee, you like, it's gonna be like either bad dark or it's gonna be, with cream. Well, this one happens to be with cream. Good thing it's not dark because it'd look even nastier. But they made it mud-like, so.
Rebecca says coffee ice cream is sand color.
It's not no sand color.
Well, it's about the same. No, but I agree. It's about the same color as maple walnut.
It's
whatever
exactly.
color you
it's
think
a little
maple
dark.
walnut
It's darker. It's like this color. It's like this color. Burnt caramel. Like me, I'm burnt caramel. I'm a little overcooked caramel. Look at this, how I describe my color. If you was making caramel, and if you guys know how to make caramel, it's kind of difficult. It can be difficult, especially if you don't have like the little thing that measures how hot it is. So when you're making caramel, I'm the person that you make caramel without the little heat thing. So then you sitting there making it and it starts to get too hot and then you like, oh shit, it's too hot. And then it comes a little darker. That's me. That's what color I am.
I think that coffee ice cream is a cross between the color of this like paper bag and this fortune cookie.
We need Grant and his suit. What adjectives can we put in front of ice cream to make it sound horrible? We need Grant for his superpower of words. I don't know maybe
These
like
fortune cookies are so
cigarette flavored cigarette ice cream. That'll be.
Yeah, that does sound gross. I'm a smoker, and I think that sounds gross.
How many people? Hey, just imagine you walk in the store and it say cigarette ice cream. You gonna be like, let me taste that. Can you give me a?
Especially if it's like cigarette butts ice cream. The worst, right? Like not just cigarettes, like a regular cigarette. An unburned cigarette isn't too bad. Like a burned cigarette.
Hey.
Good about it.
Hookah ice cream.
Oh, this is stale.
Them things is always stale.
Oh, you gotta put me here. No.
Them cookies is them things is always stale. Look, I ain't had a fresh. What are them things called?
Fortune cookie.
Look at. Fortune cookies used to be fire back in the day. When I was growing up, fortune cookies used to be fresh. When you bite them, they tasted like a cookie. Now the fortune cookies you eat literally looks like plastic. Looks like plastic, feels like plastic, and chews like like styrofoam plastic. That's what I think that's what it kind of like. It's like a mixture between styrofoam and plastic. It's like plastic on the outside, but then you bite in and it squeezes. It's like styrofoam, like it's like a lot of space between the molecules. Molecules is a big word for me.
Johnny Two Socks is with you. He says,
This thing is.
yeah, it's Lincoln. Johnny Two Socks says maple is his favorite flavor too.
You just said you chocolate. Spot on, like, yeah, I'm chocolate in terms of like that's the type of human I am. I'm a chocolate human overall. But I'm talking about what I actually look like, the color of me. My color is a little different, but overall, I'm a chocolate human. Yes, I am very much what they call a black man, aka a chocolate. I'm saying chocolate because during these times it's hard, so I'm trying to make it a little funnier. If I say I'm a black man, then it sounds like serious and like, yeah, like Black Lives Matter and stuff. But we trying to be a little, trying to take that off of y'all mind for the 2 hours we got with y'all. So I'm gonna say I'm a chocolate man. Makes it sound a little bit, he might taste good. Yes, I might. True, but Just like what Mike is not a white man, Mike is white macadamia nut man. That's what he got. You know what I mean by white macadamia nut is like, he got it's cookie and then it's, little nuts, all that good stuff. Eric, you're a mess. Oh, hey, Goldie. Hey, Goldie.
Amanda, this is infused blueberry Cheerios things. With it like infused marshmallow stuff.
Yo, I be really working on my voice. Y'all don't realize, like, I really am starting to become a little more talented day by day. Like, as the song ends, I start to, the more and more I'm in front of crowds, why can't he be white chocolate? Well, we gave him the white chocolate thing.
I am white chocolate, which is why the whole macadamia nut thing, I was just letting it go. I was waiting for him. Nobody likes macadamia nuts.
I'm trying to get a reaction out of him. He knows he's white chocolate.
I was just gonna let it go,
But he didn't want to say nothing, so I just let it float out the tongue. I was hoping he'd be like, "Yo, what are you talking about?" But
No, I gave a little eyeball. When
Mike Macadamia nut is nasty, but he didn't say that.
Oh yeah, they're like the most flavorless. It's like those Hawaiian. It's like the Hawaiian ones, right? It's like, they're just. I don't know why would anyone like a macadamia nut.
I didn't even understand.
Have you ever eaten a chocolate like out of a box of chocolates and there's a macadamia nut inside of it? What the fuck kind of like what? Why would somebody do that? Like, why would you hide a macadamia nut inside of like something as delicious as potentially as chocolate?
White chocolate is almost buttered.
Macadamia nuts.
Look hey, everybody is trying to get. Okay, so what flavor y'all think Mike would be? If Mike was a flavor, what would he be closely related to? Look closely now. Don't add the tie in. If you put the tie in, it's going to give you a hint. Or it's going to give you an idea of what you might think he is. Don't use the tie. Just picture the tie off.
Johnny Two Socks, I do agree from a taste perspective. White chocolate is it's all right. It's vanilla. It's basically vanilla, right? And I agree. It is sort of like a little bit of a mean joke when you're cream soda.
You said that's what Mike is, cream soda? Hold on now. Don't be disrespecting him like that. Cream soda.
But she probably meant it as a compliment. She probably likes cream
milk.
soda.
You said Mike is milk? Oh man. Woo! Is it real milk or?
She's like 1%. He's skim milk. It's like water. He's just basically like white water.
Yo, skim milk. Now, if you say skim milk, that's cold.
You can like see through it. Oh, curdled milk. That's a good one. That's true. I'm stinky. What's up, Jen?
Dang, hey, come on, don't do Mike like that. Come on, don't do Mike like that. I mean, it's really hard to find things that are white that are. See, look at that, Jordan, coconut.
Thank you, Jordan.
There you go. You hydrated. You hydrate everybody.
That's because Jordan doesn't hate me yet. Give it like a month, and Jordan's gonna be on here being like, yeah, he's fucking he's like a dirty white crayon. He's like the crayon in the box that like got smudged with other colors, and he's all fucked up now. Can't even be white right, can you, Mike?
Hey, the white crayon did used to always be messed up in a crayon box. I used to hate that. Bruh, be like, I just want to use the white guy, every single color touching it. Every single color. You be like, yo, this ain't white no more. Ooh, man.
We're gonna have a guest on
Pure sugar. What, like raw sugar cane? Raw sugar? Or what they say, sugar in the raw? Is that what it's called? That's a little brown though. Mike got a little brown in it.
That's true. I'll take the used cotton.
But you know the sugar in the raw is hard to like mix with stuff. You gotta you gotta stir for about 20 minutes before it finally settle in with all the.
Jen, how about used Q-tip?
Ew.
Well, she said use cotton ball, but I think she can take it a step further.
Wait.
Use Q-tip.
Ew.
Well, maybe not one that you stuck in your ear. It could be used for something else. Like you're detailing your car, it gets a little dirty.
I don't think it's anybody that's ever been like, yo, let me use your Q-tips to go detail my car.
I don't know what crack looks like. I guess it's white.
Yeah, it's white. I mean, it's a little hard. And they use baking soda and let me not get the rest.
Well, first you pull out your pan. It should be about this size, and you want to
double
boil it. You want to double boil it, and
somebody gonna be knocking at the door. Mr. Martin, we heard that you was giving out recipes today. Mike is like breast milk. The container is cool, but the acquired taste.
I accidentally drank.
Roast beef and gravy. Ew.
Wait, who's roast beef and gravy?
Yeah.
Me?
Is that what you're trying to say? Like
white roast beef?
And my roast beef and he's gravy? Is that what you're trying to say?
But is the gravy like white gravy? Because that's weird. I don't want white gravy on.
Heather Marie, you need to delete that comment and rewrite that with a little more detail. Because I'm not understanding. All I'm thinking is Arby's now.
Maybe that's.
We just talked about Arby's.
Maybe she's hungry and that's kind of like her. She's like,
Yo, that is funny though. We read a
gravy.
meme saying like, how is Arby's still in like surviving through all the pandemics, through everything they survive in? I don't understand. Like, who is buying Arby's daily? Like, who is waking up every day like, yo, we got to make sure Arby's stay a part of this economy, this dying economy, and people are continuously ordering out. And now they do, there's no sit-in, so now they're doing delivery. So somebody's actually getting Arby's delivered to them, which is even more weird.
Yeah, so it is. That's definitely weird. Like cold Arby's.
Just imagine you look outside and you see somebody walking up to your neighbor's house with a bag full of Arby's. Like, what?
So you know the one difference that for me is between like good food and bad food is like good food, when it gets cold, it still tastes good. Bad food, when it gets cold and you're like, this is the most disgusting thing now I've ever had, that's like bad food. Arby's is definitely bad when it gets cold. It is not.
Yeah, I was saying yesterday I wouldn't even go into Arby's to like use the bathroom. I'd be so nervous walking through there. Like, yo, what? I didn't even know this place. This place is like a secret. Somebody said that Arby's owner is a drug dealer. He gotta be. He gotta be a kingpin.
It's like a
slanging crack. He putting crack in the Arby's roast beef and just mixing it all in because it's mass produced. So, and nobody's gonna be like, hey, let's go get this Arby's tested real quick. You know what it looked like? They already see it. It looked like it's already been tested and modified.
Arby's gives me the meat sweats just thinking about it. Like I'm like,
Hey, don't tag Arby's because they might,
they might be a sponsor next week.
What? The hell? Sponsor who?
Us.
Bro, I'm not getting sponsored by Arby's.
What's your number? What's your number to eat an Arby's? You have a number. There is a number. We're not talking about. Hold on. We're not talking about.
You're right. It's definitely a number.
We're not talking about disgusting
bullshit.
sex. We're not talking about disgusting sex.
Hey.
You're allowed to have a number.
Hey, you're right.
For this. You're allowed without like losing face. Right? You are allowed to have a number.
100%.
What's your number to eat an Arby's sandwich?
To eat an Arby's sandwich?
And be real. Like, let's just say like they came and you're like, hey, I could use it.
Look, I do it. I do it for $10, but I'm saying like for $10 and a sponsor, yeah, of course. But I'm saying like if I was to really like, if I'm trying to negotiate and make some money, I'm gonna say $100K.
Okay.
Easy.
For like the commercial. And by the way,
oh yeah, to do the Arby's commercial where they like this?
But then you get to take the bite, you get to spit it out, right? You don't even have to like eat it.
You gotta make that face after you bite it. You gotta go.
What if because Arby's sometimes has funny commercials. What if they wanted you to like rub the Arby's all over your body? What if they were like just take some of that roast beef and like just rub it in?
That might cost a little bit more because that's embarrassing.
Yeah, Jen.
I'm gonna have to live with that on YouTube and everything. Hell nah. I'm gonna be getting beat up in the comments.
Jen was like, $10 is pretty cheap, but I did notice that you said.
Yeah, $10. If I'm just trying to get a sponsorship with the show, and they like, yo, we can't. I'm gonna be like, yeah, slide me to 10.
So Willie, I saw yesterday you were asking about the jam giveaway too. So we don't necessarily do jam giveaways all the time. In fact, there was like a lot of jam given away over a period of time, and so we were really just trying to ease up on the jam folks. But we can always give away something else, I guess. I don't know. I did get a message from DJ Stenny.
DJ.
So Willie, where do you live? Are you in Massachusetts, Willie? Willie Kirby. I've never heard of you before. Might be a new friend for us.
I like Arby's, so be careful what you say. Don't make me come up there with a few of my boys. Johnny Two Socks, let me tell you.
Wait, Johnny likes Arby's?
Let me tell you, Johnny.
Johnny, I'll go to Arby's.
Hey, Johnny, let me tell you.
I'll go to Arby's with you.
Let me tell you, Johnny. You bring you and a few boys up here, y'all all gonna be missing. Let me tell you, don't be threatening me in comments. I can get IP address. You know who this dude is? You know who this dude is? You think you investigate? You know who this dude is? How you think this show is run? Who you think do all? You think I do this? No, I don't do none of this. I just sit here. I take a shower. I do some push-ups and I sit here. Yo, he do all this, so you don't think he can find your IP address and we be at your house in 2 hours? You better leave me alone. Shoot.
Johnny's like, I already know where you guys live. And Jen, I agree. Like my opinion is slightly invalid because I'll tell you when I drive across the country, if I drive across the country, there probably is one time that I will stop and get like a little Arby's roast beef sandwich and I put the horsey sauce on it, it's like mayo, but it's super spicy. You would actually probably kind of like it. It's like super spicy mayo.
I bet you it do got some mayo in it.
That's the only way it tastes good. Listen, if you don't put the horsey sauce, the horsey sauce on it, it doesn't taste good. And Jen,
the horsey sauce, that's what it's called?
It's called horsey sauce. And Jen,
ew.
No one can buy the jam. It's not for sale. People have been trying to buy it, and it's
somebody
not for
put
sale.
Somebody give me some horsey sauce to put on my roast beef. Now what that sound?
Wait, Willie, who wants wine? I'll buy wine. Just say where and how much. What's the wine for?
Was you trying to get me drunk on here so I can start hollering at all the girls?
You were probably out near Willie last night. He said he lives out in the Cape.
Hold on now.
And
what you telling me? Hey, I'll be telling people where I'll be at. Hey, yo, my man just gave out my location last night.
I said near.
Yeah, watch out. Yo, watch out.
Yeah, horsey sauce is awesome.
Oh yeah, you can't. I'm like, boy, God,
Johnny Tusack says horsey sauce is no good.
They need a maple sauce. Yeah, I bet you the horsey sauce is no good because, you know, they need a lot of horses to make that horsey sauce.
Jen says if she has to eat roast beef, it will be from under a skirt.
Wow.
Well, Eric's like, if I had a tie on, I'd fix it right now.
that's
Jen, it's horseradish. Jen, horsey sauce is horseradish sauce mixed with mayonnaise. It's like really spicy mayonnaise, which sounds really gross, and it probably is, but somehow it's not. The spiciness somehow makes the. Wait, who said what about pickled feet? You mean the pickled eggs?
Pickled pig feet.
Oh, pickled pig feet?
Nah.
Jordan, I gotta try some.
But Arby's sauce is the. Stop. Why y'all the ones that's keeping Arby's in check? That's why.
See, that's why. So Jordan and I are gonna go to Arby's, and you're gonna have to sit out in the car.
Yeah, who's gonna sit out in the car? I'm gonna leave y'all there. I'm gonna be like, hopefully Arby's offer tents. Tents in a fire. You gotta use that roast beef to warm up.
Covered in roast beef, just covered in layers of roast beef. Jordan and I are like shivering overnight. We're locked in the Arby's. Pass the horsey sauce.
Now I'm hungry. Are you hungry for what? Arby's?
She is. She likes Arby's. She's from the Midwest. People. That's who keeps Arby's in business. Is people in the Midwest.
I know. That's crazy.
That's because they don't have. That's because they don't have In-N-Out. They don't have In-N-Out. They don't have.
Yeah, In-N-Out definitely ain't going to the Midwest.
If the Midwest had In-N-Out, they wouldn't be eating Arby's.
Y'all don't even understand In-N-Out. And anybody say anything about In-N-Out in the comments is getting muted. I don't care. I'm the jokes was cool, but once you start talking about In-N-Out, then we got a problem, all right? So just understand, you say jokes about In-N-Out, you get muted. No ifs, ands, buts, twos, I, it, oh. Don't you say a word about In-N-Out. Nobody. No, look, I'm not playing. I mean, I'm probably playing a little bit, but.
Laura Lee's right. So Laura Lee, as I've driven through across the country a few times, like the Midwest is kind of tough for food.
If we donate, can we get Mike to eat pig feet? I don't think Mike have a price on pig feet. Most people got prices on things. I don't think pig feet is one of those for Mike. The eggs was hard enough. I think pig
I couldn't
feet
eat the egg. You don't even know.
It's
I couldn't
definitely
eat the egg.
the limit. Like
we should go back to that show because I literally had little I was gagging and little egg was shooting out of the corner of my mouth. It was not good.
I'm about to throw down in the kitchen today, surf and turf. Okay, Amanda, and you just not finna invite us? Is that an invitation or are you just mentioning that so we can be jealous? I'm just wondering. I would prefer it to be an invitation. I would hope it's an invitation. And if it's not an invitation, I would be very disappointed. It's not an invitation.
She's like, psych.
Laura Lee, we have a kitchen. You cook a lot. We have a kitchen here with an oven and a stove, and the only thing we missing is some pot and pans and some utensils. But I'm sure you have those.
And the food. And
oh yeah, definitely the food. Well, the food I was planning on that was supposed to be you anyway, because you said you cook a lot. So you cook a lot means you bring the food and cook a lot.
Angela says she cooks a lot too.
Well, how about this? Y'all just come as a team. And then we create a show where it's y'all competing.
Cooking with Angela and Laura Lee.
Exactly. It's like Chopped, and then we'll have y'all in there,
Starring Mike and Eric.
Yeah, Chopped. And I'm going to be the judge, and I will test both of the foods, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and dessert. And, these got to be 5 courses or over. Anything under 5 courses will be judged, but it won't qualify. Let's just...
I just want somebody to make me some real jag. Anyone out there who knows?
What about pig? Come on, Willie.
Willie's just trying to make me feel ill.
Willie is just saying anything at this.
He's like, fuck those dudes.
And cannabis. We can add the cannabis. The cannabis definitely was going to be an essential part of the show. This is a... Who else would like to be a part of this? Because I just got
Angela, are you cooking Jag?
When I get some money, I'm coming to Boston.
Or is that, maybe that's...
I cook Puerto Rican food.
Maybe Puerto Ricans don't cook Jag. It's probably called something else.
Y'all cook like rice and beans and stuff. I love all
Well, that's Jag. Jag is rice and beans with a little bit of other stuff in it too. It's amazing.
Yeah. Give me that.
It's like Cape Verdean.
I'll be a guest judge. I mean, Jordan, you can be a guest judge if Mike decide not to go because, we don't want them making too many plates. And it's less food for everybody. And we wouldn't want, our judges to have less food because we brought in an extra person. So, if Mike decide, hey, I'm not feeling it today, then you can sub in for Mike, and then, it'll stay like, a good amount of food for all of us,
Jen is saying like, oh, just open the fridge and show your creativity. In our fridge right now, it's ranch, some salad, water, and jam. So I'm not sure what people are going to make out of that, but yeah, fried plantains. Jordan, don't say that.
That's what I had last night.
What do you mean?
I had fried plantains last night. So good.
Oh, you mean when you were in Western Mass? Way out in Western Mass last night when you were way out in Western Mass? That way? Shut covering.
Yo, this dude is funny. Yo,
yeah, fried plantains out in Western Mass? That's crazy.
Right? That's crazy. Who knew that they grew plantains out there?
Willie, we like to call that prune pie.
Yeah, prune pie. What? There's a lot of different types of prune pies out there. Stay away from some of them. Fresh coconut milk, yummy. Dang, y'all love talking about food. That get the brain going. People love talking about food. Man, because I'm starving now, so who's getting me some food?
It feels, these days I'm always the one who's like, are we ready to go yet?
They found an In-N-Out burger on a street in New York once. It was so weird. Some people tracked it down to a girl that bought it on a flight from California. Damn. That's crazy. She must have saved that burger because that's what I would have did. That's the thing. I can eat food. Hey, look, if the food has been out for 24 hours, I'm still eating it. Anything over 24 hours, I have to like test it with my eyes and my nose.
Jordan, don't threaten to Uber Eats us anything because we'll take it.
You can definitely order some. It ain't no Arby's out here, is it? Hell no, ain't no Arby's out here. I'm finna look this.
You should look because I bet you there's one.
Not
real close here. Not close enough to here to Uber Eat it though. But there's probably one in Massachusetts or Rhode Island.
God, there's a lot of Arby's out here. That's crazy. It's 9 of them.
Where's the closest one?
What?
Yeah, just not anywhere near us.
Yeah,
it's like an hour drive to the closest Arby's.
That's crazy. It's Arby's all. I don't know. They be thriving out here.
Jessica knows that you shouldn't have Arby's.
Huh?
You shouldn't have Arby's. They have other stuff.
Hell yeah, I know that, Jessica. You already know. Hey, he go Uber eat some Arby's. I'm gonna tell him to give me some fries and a drink. That's it.
They have curly fries, I think. Jordan, like, be careful what you wish for.
Jordan, that's a long drive. You don't do that.
Yeah,
if anything, I'd make you drive to In-N-Out first.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, at least bring something good if you're gonna drive.
Yeah, if you gonna drive that long, drive to California, get some In-N-Out and drive back. Hey, look, in 3 days, that burger would be good if you put it in a nice container. I'm still gonna eat it.
Oh, Jordan has a zip card.
Become a tent Uber. Oh.
He's gonna like.
Okay. Shit,
Yeah,
you can
Rebecca,
just come over and smoke.
They have curly fries. Arby's fries are all right.
Hey, the best is
Sonic.
strawberry lemonade from Wendy's.
Amanda, we had a Sonic that was like 5 minutes from us, and now it's about 20
Yeah, Sonic
20 minutes.
is fire. Sonic got some good drinks.
You like, you like all the slushes.
Yeah, their food ain't that.
I like the tater tots. I never give you any of my tater tots
Yeah.
because they're too good. Because it's like that. It's like that Popeyes potatoes with the gravy on it. I was like,
My man had mashed potatoes
I
and gravy from Popeyes one time and lost it.
dude, I'd do just about anything for you except that gravy. Potatoes and gravy. That shit's.
Sonic do got that. They Sonic Blast. They Sonic Ice Cream Blast. Them shits is amazing.
You put it in the freezer for like
And
a week.
Yeah, hey, look at. Let me tell you, their sizes are crazy too. That large. That don't even make sense. It should be that big. That shit like this big. It shit like the whole camera. I'm like, yo, what? I got a medium and was like, yo, did we order the wrong one? I love Sonic over by the Golden Banana.
I think so. I think that must be Heather.
Yeah, that strawberry lemonade from Wendy's though. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That shit is amazing. Go to Wendy's, it costs $3.63, $3.73 depending on what state you live in, how much the taxes is. But let me tell you, it's about $3.50 somewhere. But make sure you just have $3.75 just in case. And let me tell you, get no ice because you want no ice. It comes with pulp. The pulp is like strawberries like floating around. Strawberry lemon pulp. And let me tell you, it's amazing. As soon as you sip it once, you can't put it down. As soon as you put it down, you're picking it back up. It's like a workout. Just like this the whole time. And then you gotta let it swivel around your mouth. Like, you know how when you're drinking, you just kind of let it like create like a little puddle and you just, whew.
How come all the ladies know that the Golden Banana is a strip club in Saugus?
What is the Golden Banana?
It's a strip club in Saugus.
Wait, why do they call it the Golden Banana? The Golden Banana. That's funny.
All of them, all the ladies were like, "Oh yeah, that's Sonic. Oh yeah, the one right near the Golden Banana, the one we always hit up right after we leave the strip club.
Boy,
That's our spot. That's our spot."
I'm hungry. Right after I get some booty in my face, I'm hungry. Because who orders wings from a strip club? Exactly. You just hit up a spot. Come on. I never order wings from a strip club. I don't know how much booty been on the wings.
Sheila says she loves Wendy's strawberry lemonade, so she knows.
Come
She's
on.
living that life.
Sheila, you know that's the best. Look, I go to Wendy's just to get that. I don't even care about the food. They like, is that it? Yes. Yes, large strawberry lemonade with no ice. 100%.
Did you roll something up, by the way?
No. Dang.
No, I was just wondering.
Yeah, because we've come to the end of the show.
Jen's like Golden Bananas. So Jen, what's the
It's
best?
trash.
What's the best strip club, Jen? What's the best?
In
Strip
my
club?
opinion, it's trash, and I know that because I've been there multiple times.
These days, most of the time that I go to a strip club, it's with other chicks.
It's crazy. So when I was in Nebraska, one of the first girls I took out on a date. Well, not one of the first, but like one of the first girls I hung out with. She her birthday was around the corner, and so I was like, what you want to do for your birthday? And she was like, yo, let's go to the strip club. And I'm like, yo, we're in Nebraska. There's no way. Like, you really want to waste $20 on your birthday to go to the strip club? Like, come on, these gonna be midtown girls, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, come on, I'm chocolate and
I feel
I'm
like
probably gonna be the only chocolate dude in there.
I feel like going to a strip club in Nebraska is like going to any Walmart anywhere and just like looking at like.
Yo, and so we went and let me tell you, bro, that shit was hilarious. Hilarious. I'm like, look, hilarious. These had to be like dudes' wives who live in the city or who was farmers, and they was like, yo, we need to make that extra money on the side.
I'm not saying we should be giving away the milk for free, but why don't you go give away the milk for free?
Dude, me and the girls have an OnlyFans starting soon. What? How does Zach feel about this? I don't know.
He's like
He's all for it.
He's like, I need my 15%.
For my pain and suffering.
Turns around with his pimp hat on with a big
Oh, 15%.
like those bitches better be starting.
Hey, that's why he's quiet. That's why he don't be on social media a lot. Cause he like, yo, I gotta keep a low profile. I can't let him know. You know, gotta keep. Shout out to my man Zach.
I don't think Zach has only watched the show when Jen happens to turn it on, and then he.
Yeah, and I be telling her to tag him. Like, yo.
No, we know Zach's
say
for
what's
it. We
up.
definitely know Zach's for it. But I think it's funny for Zach, the idea of Zach being like, that's right, you guys better start that only. I've been waiting.
Yeah.
That OnlyFans isn't going to start itself.
I already had one ready for y'all, but y'all started one, so I'll just get rid of this one.
Let me give you my PayPal account.
Man.
You guys get to watch Eric roll a blunt. Maybe you should tell people how to roll a blunt.
Look, if you don't know how to roll a blunt by now,
I don't. I can roll a joint, but I'm bad at rolling blunts.
All right, so first thing you do is you take out the blunt, this thing right here. This is a game grape, because who don't like grape?
It's the best flavor.
And then once you take it out, you gotta lick the edges. Don't look it. So here's the thing about blunts. I definitely don't like people who use their tongue too much in blunts, because number one, we don't know where your tongue being. Number two, we don't want to taste where your tongue being. So let's use very little spit and you lick the edges because the part that you just split is gonna be a little hard. Yeah, so you want to lick it to give it a little strength, and then after that you kind of roll the weed. Well, my hands are bigger, so I do it a little different than everybody else. Some people, they just roll with their hands, but I can't do that. So I just like tuck it with my finger. So like if you see that right there, you see that piece? You see how it's like that? I just slide my finger in and push and roll with the other finger.
So Amanda's saying that you should get hip to Fronto. And
Negative.
I'm going to be a jerk for a second and say that Fronto is like the limp dick of blunts.
It is. It does. It's like as soon as you roll a long one like this, it just goes.
You like pick it up and it's like, oh, let me smoke this Fronto thing like the
Man, it's like gravity pulling it down and you're trying to hit it up.
It's like the boobs on an 80-year-old woman.
Come on, and then it costs $15 to get a pack, and they don't even be. Some of them don't even be fresh. How am I supposed to get? I'd rather get two for $1 and one of them be messed up and one of them be good. At least I know I got my worth. Than paying $10 for a pack where every single one is messed up, and now I got to deal with it because I just dropped $10 on it. No, I can get 10 of these and half of them be done, so I got 5 and I'm good. 5 blunts, I'm happy.
Everyone's telling us because we don't know how to roll.
I don't know how to roll. You crazy, you don't think I know how to roll. Come smoke my blunts and see.
Your Fronto blunt is never limp? I don't know. I know lots of people rolling Frontos and
Look, if you say your Fronto blunt is never limp, I don't believe you because them things are already heavy. The leaf itself is heavy. And anytime you roll it, it automatically limps, like automatically, because the Fronto is so heavy. And then you lick it, that makes it even more heavy. So now you just got this wet leaf which is literally what it is. And it does become a limp dick when you hit it. Like, I don't care what you say. You don't have to believe me. But look at, hey, you see that? You can't do this with a Fonto and it looks straight. You see this? Look, what can I put it next to that's straight?
Where's that dollar bill thing?
Look at, you see?
Nah,
This ain't straight enough. Look, I don't know. You see my eyes? I put it in front of my eyes. You see how it's covering up both of my corneas? You see that? That lets you know right there how straight it is. I promise on everything I love, you can't do this with a Fonto. Everything I love. It'd be covering up my nose. It'd probably be like this a little bit. Come on, bro. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. Actions speak less smoke than actions speak louder than words. 7 for 25 blunts with Fontos.
Yeah, Dan, Frontos are the often...
7 for 20? It ain't no $7 for 25. Stop it. That is not no 25 blunts. I done been with people who bought plenty of Fontos, thousands of Fontos.
She's buying ones called like Frinto. It's like the off-brand Frontos.
Prove to me, send me a video right now of 25 Fontos in one pack for $7. Please, send me the video. If you can prove me wrong, I will get on camera and admit I was wrong, 100%.
So Jordan, it's because the blunt wraps have a little bit of tobacco in it. I think that's why. And Johnny.
But so does Fontos.
No. And Johnny, but they don't sell Frontos at the dispensary, do they?
Oh, no.
Especially pre-rolled. And Johnny Two Socks, that's why people like to smoke blunts, is because it's got a little bit of tobacco. It's got a little bit of tobacco in it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of like it'd be kind of contradicting that a dispensary is selling tobaccos. But you see, they do sell raws. They do always sell like the papers because papers are healthier for you in terms of like, and that's what make raws a little bit better. But yeah, they're not gonna sell like Swishers and Games and Fontos because that tobacco, that's the whole point of having dispensaries is to stop people from smoking tobacco. So it'd be kind of stupid if they started selling them shits.
These girls all talking shit. Saying that we couldn't handle their parties. We couldn't handle going to their parties. We wouldn't be able to hang.
Look at how y'all think.
Look, facts. Mail him a pack, old man.
Look at
He needs it.
Do y'all really want me to go into this? Y'all really want me to go into this right now? Do y'all really want me to go into this? Y'all don't realize I done smoked with everybody. Everybody. And I'm not trying to brag about that or nothing, but the fact is people just be wanting to smoke with me. So I done smoked with so many people that they'll tell you I'm not no lightweight. I done smoked the best of the best. I done smoked the worst of the worst. I done smoked mids. I done smoked lows. I done smoked highs. I done smoked super highs. And I done smoked super lows. I done did it all. So my lungs and then my lungs also did some other stuff in college that it shouldn't have. So I'm experienced. I'm mighty experienced in this game. I done had 24-hour smoke-offs with my teammates. We all sat in the house for 24 hours and just rolled blunt after blunt after blunt. And then you want me to tell you when it was? It was during the week we had off for the first round of the playoffs. I had just got here. And we were playing the Ravens, and we had the first round off, and I had met one of my teammates, and he already had some, and I was like, "What? That's crazy." He was like, "Yeah, we finna do a little 24 hours." And then we did all. I don't want to go too far in detail, but yeah, we did it, and it was a good time. And let me tell you, I smokes now. Dang, y'all be like thinking, "Oh, just because you're Super Bowl, you don't smoke." All right, bet. Try me if you want. Try me, I'm gonna bring a pint. Yo, y'all see Mike low-key took the tie off slow? Y'all ain't even peeping. Y'all missed the whole... Didn't I tell y'all don't blink and it come off? Y'all ain't even noticed. Now y'all gotta go back and watch the episode and y'all gotta put it in slow motion times 20 because that's the only way you're gonna see it.
Laura Lee was asking. That's why she said thanks, Mike.
Sorry, nigga, come on.
She's like, finish taking off the rest of the tie. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to do it eventually anyway once we're off air.
All right, I'm done talking.
So, Amanda, here's what I would say is roll your blunts with sativa and then tell us how much we're all going to be hanging.
Look at it. Indicas do make me sleepy. They do hit me hard and they do make me sleepy. But that's the thing. If you Once you tell my mind it's a competition, all that go out the window. Now I'm just blowing weed, just smoking and smoking to beat you at that point. I'm not smoking to be like dumb high. I'm smoking because you said that you can smoke me to sleep, which I don't believe so. Look, I got a click in my mind. It's like a little switch. Once you put in competition, that's me. That's what I was born to do. Compete. That's why I made it to the highest level, because all I do is compete. I'm a sore loser. Look, I'm an asshole when I lose. I talk shit sometimes, depending on who I'm playing. And if they talking shit, most of the time I just stay quiet. But once you start talking, then I be quiet. And then once I win, then I start talking.
What's up, Pearson?
I'm not for leisure.
Good to see you, bud.
What's up, Piers? I see you. Eric just ain't ready. It's okay. I'm tired of this. Hey, we got to end the show. That's the end of the show, because it's time to go. We don't want to talk about this no more. I need a lighter so we can light up and smoke. Peace.